One of the biggest things that bothers me about Democrats is when they make an argument from authority on political issues like climate change, jabs, and now health for Americans. RFK Jr. became Department of Health and Human Service nominee, and Democrats are claiming he doesn't have the qualifications for that. That means if I say there's two genders, no one can argue with me from now on because I have a biochemistry degree. Not that I think that makes me qualified to say that statement, it's actually a pretty useless degree. But Democrats can say with a straight face that a ripped 70-year-old man has less qualification than this overweight trans person. Give me a break. And it's no secret, obesity in America is a huge problem. As RFK Jr. states, 77% of young men are not qualified to join the military because of health and drug problems. 18% of American teens have fatty liver disease. 1 in 4 women are on antidepressant medications. 15% of high schoolers are on Adderall. And it doesn't take someone with a degree in rocket surgery to figure out that it's because of ultra-processed foods, ultra-processed grains, seed oils, food additives, and pesticides that linger in our bodies, poisoning us, causing weight gain, cancer, mental illness. Could I be as controversial as to say adding numbers to the TIAQ plus community, or is that too triggering? But yet again, we got Scott Jennings making CNN watchable again by debunking the claim that RFK Jr. is not qualified.
If we're being intellectually honest, there's really no good reason why Bobby Kennedy, RFK Jr., should be HHS secretary. An advisor, a confidant, somebody who talks to the president and advises, but there's no managerial experience in his resume. There's nothing that says he is qualified to do this job that is in charge of the health of all of us, all these different lanes. If he has views and has insights around food sources, around vaccines, then those should be given in advisory roles.
Why?
Because
what were the qualifications of the previous ones?
Well, I think it's important to always remember that you put yourself. Say that again?
What were the management qualifications? I mean, Xavier Becerra.
I'm not talking about the previous. I'm looking forward.
But you're calling into question whether he could actually do this job, and I think it's
absolutely. I think America is now, and I think
it's important to discuss it because Xavier Becerra was just a lawyer and a politician with no management experience.
So does two negatives, two wrongs make a right?
Sylvia Burwell was a Walmart lobbyist. Donna Shalala was a university person. Look,
RFK Jr. is a nut.
Okay, so that's different than what you just said. You just said he doesn't possess the requisite managerial experience, but then we get to the real issue here, which is you want to insult the man, which is your right to do because you opposed him in the election. But you, doctor, are raising the issues that he has been raising, and I think they're appropriate questions to raise. I don't know whether he can be confirmed or not. The vaccine stuff at the table is obviously going to be the flashpoint of this hearing. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you one thing. This whole issue of the CDC and these public health agencies, look, public trust in the health regime in this country is as low as it's ever been.
But why,
It's because of COVID.
Right.
Because of school closures. Because of mask mandates. Because this country was... But let me just finish. Because this country was drugged through a bunch of condescending and heavy-handed mandates that all turned out to be garbage, and that's why it's low, and the questions are valid.
And RFK is the answer to all of that.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's gonna be
RFK helped promote the assault on the CDC that lowered the disinformation that led to more than a million deaths, Scott. More than 1 million deaths in the United States, higher than any other industrialized nation per capita. That's the result of failed policies and the demonization of the conspiracy theories.
Whose policies?
This guy doesn't even have an argument. Democrats can't even be honest about the origins of the virus or be honest in saying this whole 6 feet rule had nothing to do with science. We created the most ridiculous culture of putting a mask on, entering a restaurant, only to take it off sitting down like a bunch of morons. And because they aren't even used to having the conversation that everyone is unhealthy and pointing fingers to basic things like processed foods, they call him a conspiracy theorist. Some people either need to open their minds more or quit getting bought and paid for by these advertisers.